paediatric units and other long-stay hospitals. This idea caught on, and it became the start of the supported housing movement. And Advance has been at the forefront of that, although at the very start, Advance would have been known as Guideposts. With little experience and scant resources, that small group of people were driven by their passion to make a difference. And we continue to be driven by that passion today. Everything we do is done to make a difference to the lives of our customers, to transform their lives. Many of you here, customers and staff, will have seen Advance develop and grow over the years. You'll remember both the small and the more significant changes. Valuing People, a new strategy for learning disability in a 21st century, was a document that was published in 2001, and it outlined the main principles of inclusion, choice, rights, and independence for people with learning disabilities. And we know that there have been dramatic improvements since that time in the quality of care and support, but many of our customers still feel excluded from society, and they feel exposed to negative perceptions and unwelcome behaviours. Stigma relating to learning disability and autism and mental ill health is sadly still present in society today, and we do want to see that change. In a few minutes, I'm going to hand over to our chair, Jonathan, but before I do, I'll maybe just say a little bit about myself and my history with Advance. And I've been in social housing for most of my career. Prior to joining Advance, I worked for the housing regulator, and at that time I was responsible for inspecting and assessing the governance and financial viability of housing associations. When I moved from the Northwest, I was keen to join a housing association, and I was offered a role at Advance. And I soon realised how much tougher things were on the other side of the fence. That was almost 25 years ago, so I've had the pleasure of seeing Advance grow and develop over many years. When I joined, rent restructuring was about to be introduced to align council rents with housing association rents. We didn't have the sophisticated tools then for financial modelling. It was all done on spreadsheets. At that time, we didn't have the professional board that we have today. It was made up of retired middle-class men who didn't really have much idea at all of what was going on in the organisation, but they did want to do some good. At that time, we had a number of registered homes, a significant number, in which our customers were generally well looked after and cared for. But over the years, a lot of those services have been deregistered, and we've now moved towards supporting our customers to become as independent as possible and to make their own choices. I joined Advance at the time when we were just figuring out how to deliver shared ownership for people with learning disabilities. And now we've got more than 750 people with disabilities that have chosen and part own their own home. I was also around to welcome Hilton to Advance, a Hackney-based support provider. It was challenging at the start to bring the two cultures together and the different ways of working, but over time we were able to learn from each other and to become a much stronger organisation. One of our more recent changes has been the appointment of a new chair, Jonathan Higgs, who I'll bring in now to introduce himself and say a few words about where we're going as an organisation. Jonathan.
That's great. Thanks, Julie. I hope you can all hear me. excuse me, as Julie said, my name's Jonathan Higgs, and I've taken over the chair position from Marie when she stepped down from the board in April this year. I'd just like to say a bit about what the board is for those of you that don't know. We're a small group of people, a bit more diverse now than when Julie took over or started at Advance 25 years ago. But we come from different backgrounds, and we work with Julie and her senior team to set the direction for Advance and to make sure that we achieve what we're here to do and that we follow the rules that others have set for us whilst we do it. And we're all driven by a desire to see Advance succeed. Now, I've worked in social housing for 35 years, and it's really where my heart is. As a child growing up, my parents ran 2 schools for children with some very particular needs, and I saw early on and at first hand what a difference people that care can make when they understand the personal needs of an individual and respond to them, leaving those individuals feeling valued. And of course, this is what Advance has been doing for 50 years now. And in the short time that I've been here, I've been really struck by the care and commitment of Advance colleagues, the desire not only to do a good job, but to continually to look to get better. Our Strong for the Future plan has a lot of things in it, many of which you'll be very familiar with, I'm sure, but there are 2 that I particularly wanted to emphasise that are important to the board. Firstly, we want to make sure that when we deliver our services, we hear the voice of the customer when we're making our plans and making our decisions. As well as getting out and about meeting Advance colleagues and talking to our customers, we really value the Housing Customer Partnership and the valuable feedback they provide for us. And I thought I'd just illustrate this rather than talk in general terms, just illustrate it with a couple of examples. There are 2 things that we took away from a recent meeting on which we want to see action taken and improvements made. And those 2 things were checking customer satisfaction after a repair and how we can make sure that housing officer visits are as effective as possible. So like you, the board's determined to make sure that what's important to our customers is important to us. And those are just 2 examples that have been fed back to the board via the Customer Housing Partnership. The second thing that I wanted to pick out from the plan is that none of our great work today, or indeed over the last 50 years, would have been possible without you, the Advance team. And we can only deliver consistently good services with committed, caring and well-trained staff. So it was brilliant for the board to see recently that 90% of our colleagues here at Advance think that Advance is a good place to work. So we know we must be doing something right. Making sure we continue to attract and retain brilliant colleagues remains a focus for us at the board as well. Now, there are many challenges ahead. Our local authority partners don't have as much money as they need to pay for services like ours. And there's a massive pent-up demand for more homes like the ones that we provide. But I know Advance will meet these challenges and prosper as it has for the last 50 years. There really is an awful lot for us to do. What we do at Advance is special, and you are special. We all see daily the difference it makes to people's lives. So I thank you on behalf of the board for all the tremendous work that you do. And I hope you enjoy the series of fantastic sessions that Julie and the team have laid on over the next few days. And I look forward to participating as much as I'm able. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. A lot has changed since 1974, and it's so encouraging that opportunities are starting to open up for people with disabilities. And our very special guest speaker today is a brilliant example of someone who has pursued their goals and passions with drive and determination and has achieved incredible success despite the odds. I'm delighted to be able to welcome Tommy Jessup, actor, activist and writer, who you may recognise from hit TV series like Line of Duty, Casualty and Holby City. I'd also like to welcome Jane, Tommy's mum and manager. Alongside his successful acting career, Tommy is passionate about representing people with learning disabilities and, in particular, helping people to understand what it's like to live with Down syndrome. But he's also passionate about looking past the labels that people give us, seeing the individual, and helping everyone achieve their potential. I'm sure that every one of us here will be inspired by his story and his success. But before we hear from you, Tommy and Jane, let's take a look at some of Tommy's work.
I want to fight, and I want to win.
Why?
Because I'm a fighter.
That's right. And again, give me right. 1, 2. That's it, quicker. 1, 2. Sharpen up. 1, 2, roll. 1, 2, roll. That's it. 1, 2, sit. There. 1, 2.
Heading over here.
As long as you keep your mouth shut.
Terry Boyle, you remain under caution.
Do you live in the property or were you just visiting?
No.
Our assumption is the removal of a refrigerator or freezer.
No.
For the DIR, the suspect is not responding.
Sometimes Mr. Boyle finds it difficult to formulate an answer, particularly in situations of stress.
Not me. The other man. He did it. No.
Who was this other man, Terry? I'm concerned about your client's welfare. You just need to tell us who this other man is. We have to stop. We'll continue another time. Interview terminated at 3:38 p.m.
Won't be a long drive, mate.
It's too dangerous. Just wait for backup. Just wait for backup. Status 0, mate.
Hand away from your mouth and take your medication, okay? You need to take your medication, Sarah, okay?
Leave her. No!
Was that you acting up?
You should stop doing what Mike tells you.
We're best mates, aren't we, Terry? Sorry, mate. There's a fly on you.
Who was in charge of the police, Terry? Can you remember that for me?
I will when they're hungry. You're not trouble, are you?
You got one?
Yeah. Just a tizzler thing.
Get it down, you Zulu warrior. Get it down, you Zulu. Tick, 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 tick.
And I'm the king of the world! You fucking little... I could have been dead.
Look,
You hate me. You've always hated me.
that's not true.
And that's why you tried to kill me.
I didn't mean to push you. If you say anything,
Oh, well, go on then. Hit me.
He's going to be just fine.
Soldier. What about your boyfriend?
I haven't got one.
I haven't got a girlfriend.
One day, eh? For both of us.
Hope so. What?
many happy returns and happy 50th birthday to all at advance, and thank you for all of your hard work. Well, I might have brought someone along to keep me in order, and she does have a message of her own.
Thank you, Tommy. Hello there. The world for people with learning disabilities has changed remarkably since Advance was formed, and I too remember how important Valuing People was in 2001, 2002. But you will know from all you do and try to do, prejudice and false preconceptions still persist. The good stuff is only happening in pockets, not everywhere. We still need to change the world. You'll guess I'm not just talking as Tommy's mum, but I have had hands-on experience running the local MenCap Society, very hands-on chair, setting up projects and setting up the Blue Apple Theatre Company for people with learning disabilities. And I've discovered that people with learning disabilities often have hidden ability and different abilities that can change and enhance our lives. It's not no ability. And from my experience, I believe there is a lot of hidden ability because we've not yet looked or helped people find out about themselves, because society has assumed they can't do things. We put a ceiling on what we think they can do without giving them the chance to show us who they truly can be. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I've written my speech and the computer's frozen. Hopeless. Let's get it down and see what I can do. Tommy has been lucky. He's worked hard and his life has been completely extraordinary. When he was little, a doctor said he would never learn to read. Well, look at you now, professional actor, public speaker and published author, Doctor of the Arts. He's defied all predictions and gone on to play some of the most challenging roles in British theatre, including Hamlet in Shakespeare's Language, which you toured across the south of England. He starred in award-winning films and TV, including Line of Duty and Masters of the Air, which is the latest Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks film about the Second World War. You've won several Best Actor awards yourself, and you've been to the BAFTAs and the Emmys. You've spoken at receptions in Parliament and the US Embassy and inside number 10 Downing Street, trying to make a difference for people like you. And you've written 2 books and the Honorary Doctor of the Arts. How did this happen? Well, I admire you. It takes discipline and hard work. But you would not have had the chance if people had not listened to you. And actually, I failed at that. I did not listen. I never thought your dream was possible. But this ceiling of expectation, this underestimating people with learning disabilities, is still true for so many, and hopefully we can stop it. In the early 2000s, people with learning disabilities came to me bored and lonely and with nothing to do. And to be honest, they were boring, as they had nothing to talk about, and they had no friends. I also discovered that one person was so unfit he got out of breath walking downhill. And that was a spur to do something. And the first thing we set up was low-level circuit training, which has been hugely popular. And then dance at Blue Apple, and the Blue Apple Theatre Company itself, which is very ambitious, professionally produced theatre, aiming high, trying to change people's perceptions and expectation to allow people with learning disabilities to do something wonderful on stage, to public audiences. So these projects have seen them grow healthier mentally and physically and gain an important sense of purpose and self-worth. They've become more important and they've built safe and strong friendships. Nationally, we're just beginning to see a whole new cohort of confident people with Down syndrome making speeches and lobbying Parliament and doing all sorts of exciting things with their lives, which Tommy will talk about. All this is because someone understood their potential and believed in them and helped them to realise their dreams and discover who they can be. But as you know, this isn't happening everywhere, and it's up to us to make a difference where we can. But first, let's ask Tommy, what do you think the world needs to change now?
Well, it really is about time that people with learning disabilities should be treated with respect and equally and fairly. And I do hope that my story will send out a very powerful message by saying start to follow your own dreams, and to believe in yourself. And I really want to help people to start believing in themselves and to live their lives to the full, and showing what they truly are capable of, and to have their own good life stories to tell. Then, hopefully, we can change the way that other people in the wider world understand us. Well, they will see who we truly are, and what we are truly capable of, and everyone, and everyone should have the right to live their lives the way they want to live. And we should all be who we want to be. So, I would say to the world, see us as people, not labels, and if you label us, we get offended. You think we can't do things, and you may not see the real person behind the label. I'm not a label with Down syndrome. I'm an uncle, a son, and a football supporter, and a performer, and a public speaker, and an author. I love dancing and music and researching and being on stage. Labels hide who we really are and who we can be. To well, let us surprise you. Never say that's not possible. Help us. Really listen and give us a time to explain this. When I told my parents I wanted to be an actor, they thought that was not possible. But soon after, I was accepted onto the BBC Channel 4 Talent Fund training, and my first film coming down the mountain, playing jointly with Nicholas Hoult, was nominated for a BAFTA award. So, never say you can't. You just be holding us back. Say you can, or let's try, and I will help you. We are all different. Yes, and don't judge a book by its cover. Some of us have Down syndrome, but we are not all the same. We have different gifts and talents, likes and dislikes. I know in international swimmers and a tennis player, cooks, and models, and photographers, and dancers, and musicians, and all of us on TV for help us discover our special gift or talent. All of us in this meeting today are different and having different life stories and different gifts. well, some of us just might need to help finding these out. I am a man on a mission to help people to dig them out, dig out their talents and showing who they truly are and what they are capable of doing. Well, I was lucky enough to play Hamlet, and Hamlet asks a really big question. To be or not to be. Well, my message is, well, what about you and people that you care for? Who do you really want to be? Well, for me, being on in caricature on stage or on the screen is my greatest passion in life, and I do like making viewers to laugh or cry and even to shout at the screen, and also to fall in love with my caricature. Yes. And 5, help us to keep fit. Following your dream can be hard work. Well, working in film means that you have to be on top form, like having early nights, as much as I do not like early nights, but they are worth it. And also eating healthy food like grapes and tomatoes and strawberries are more energizing than a cake. Well, too much cake gives me a sugar rush and it leaves me quite tired. So yes, I drink mostly water or coffee, and champagne. Yes, and I have a fitness regime. I am do twice a week. And once yes, and walking more is my New Year's resolution this very year. Yes, well, as I said, I hate labels with a great passion, because they hide who you really are, and this can also scar us for life. It can be a real problem in all of life, including the film industry. People only see the label, not the real person, and they think we can't do things when we can, and they think that our lives are not worth living. But we can have really good lives. Well, in healthcare, this is called diagnostic overshadowing, and some of my work has tried to stop this from happening. My panorama investigation will the NHS care for me has found this led to poor healthcare, and even death. And someone needs to support the patient and healthcare team to make sure the medical staff to understand them. I made a film, a friend's story to model how to talk to us. Take a history and to believing in us, and to explain things so we understand. I have had a fantastic opportunities from playing Hamlet's mental angst to the infamous interview scenes in Line of Duty. I've burnt down a hospital and being pushed off a mountain and drowned in a lake. It truly is a life worth living. It's all in here. Except I have never played a hero. So now I want to use a film to challenge of how people in the mainstream world to see us and getting rid of labels. So if people see you on the screen, they understand more about you. Well, that is why Will and I are writing a film where the main hero has got Down syndrome, because I believe that we can all be heroes in our own lives. So, to summarise this speech, what needs to happen now is the world needs to, well, see us as people, not labels, and with gifts and talents, and who may surprise you, and to never say that's not possible. Say, let's try, and don't put a ceiling on what you think we can do. Then we will all live very healthy and fulfilling lives. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tommy. That was, a fantastic motivational speech that you've given to us. I think you've given us an awful lot there to think about, really, and particularly we've got that message about not using labels, and we don't want to use labels. We want to see the potential in everybody. But I think for me, one of the things that you said, and I may quote this incorrectly, but you described yourself as a man on a mission to dig out talents and show people what they are capable of. I think that's a good challenge for us, and particularly when we're working with our customers who have a range of disabilities, to always be thinking about, what are their dreams, their ambitions, what are they capable of, and supporting them to achieve those dreams. I think, as you said, we want to support people to live the life they choose. And you talked about living lives that people want to live. So really, really good speech. And we operate in a tough environment. And I think that will motivate everybody in the meeting today to really go away and think about what more we can do to help people live fulfilling lives. We've probably got, we have got a little bit of time. Is it okay? Will you take some questions, Tommy? Or even Jane? And thank you, Jane, for your input. If you're still there, thank you.
Yeah.
Has anybody got a question for Jane or Tommy?
Not too difficult now.
We've got one from Jonathan, our chair.
Oh, excellent.
Go for it, Jonathan.
Tommy, that's brilliant. Thank you. Water, coffee, and champagne. I'm going to stick to that as well. What a recipe. What's your next dream, Tommy? What next?
Hopefully, it'll be quite shaken, but quite stirred. And the chosen number is a 007.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I don't doubt it, Tommy. I'm looking forward to it already.
Brilliant.
And the question is how we work towards that one. Yeah, hi.
I wonder, Jane, if I could ask you a question, and particularly I think sometimes when we are moving customers into our services, it is often parents perhaps that set that ceiling quite low and are concerned about, their son or daughter living independently or having a relationship, those sort of things really. I wonder if you could say a bit more about, how easy was it for you to let go and really see that Tommy could achieve all of these dreams?
It was just like a rolling ball, really. The doors opened and it's just been wonderful. And people have, I think there's still more doors to push open, like feature films. It's only had a tiny little role so far, but it's a beginning. But from my work, yes, you're absolutely right. Some parents have been very restrictive, and one woman got completely shocked. In our second performance, I think, our second production at Blue Apple, there was a baker's shop scene, and people had a huge range of ability, and we've all got a certain disability in some area, probably, but there's a huge range. So at Blue Apple, there were people in wheelchairs, there were people with very little language, and then there were graduates. We got everybody together. Anyway, one woman didn't really speak, but we did a kind of shadowing technique. And so she was going on stage with somebody to buy 2 bread rolls or something. And she said 2 words, and her mother fell off her chair, because she was just so surprised and shocked and pleased and everything else. So I think, yes, I'm sure I'm guilty too of putting a false ceiling. But we're all protective as parents, aren't we? It's natural. But I think, I like the way Tommy said, don't say you can't, say you can, or let's try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. We've got a question from Grant. Do you want to come in, Grant?
Myself. Right, have you one of the questions I've always been quite vetted at a few people know in that one. Have you ever thought about going to Bollywood or Hollywood for any of your films?
You've been?
Well, I haven't been to Hollywood, but we could Bollywood might be next on the agenda.
That's a fun idea for someone who likes dancing, Grant.
Yep.
Because they often have a lot of dancing in their films, don't they?
That's true.
But you went to Hollywood, didn't you? And you pitched your film to a Hollywood producer.
Yeah.
That was on a BBC documentary recently called Tommy Jessup Goes to Hollywood. So I just hope that one day you'll make a film with Hollywood.
I agree.
It's a question of opening that door. How do you do that?
Well, one piece of advice is it might take just that one yes.
One yes, just one yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any last questions for Tommy or Jade? Katie.
Hi, Tommy. So I'm so jealous that you went to the BAFTAs and to the Emmys. I am super, super jealous. So my question is, did you get to meet any of your favourite actors at the BAFTAs and the Emmys? And who was it? Who's your favourite?
I think I might have seen some people. I just had the pleasure of meeting Patsy Palmer.
Well, the whole cast of EastEnders.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And Holby.
Yep.
And Call the Midwife.
Yep.
Hugh Grant.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
You've had a hug with Hugh Grant, haven't you?
Yep.
Oh, and you what's the name of the man in that lovely actor in Tommy Jessup Goes to Hollywood who read a script with you?
There's a Kit Harington.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Exactly. And Will Sharp.
You may not know Will Sharp so well, but
the,
he's a brilliant writer and
yes,
actor.
Moment John, the White Lotus.
Wow,
If you
thank
haven't seen
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you again, Jane and Tommy. We couldn't have asked for a more motivational opening to our staff conference, or staff and customer conference. Now, I think before we heard from you, we knew you'd achieved a lot, but just seeing it in the film and hearing what you've said, you have achieved so much and you've opened so many doors. And I think we'll all be wanting to read your book to learn a little bit more about how you've achieved so much. But it has been really good, and really appreciate you spending the time with us today. I'm sure everyone will join me in thanking you and agree it has been fantastic.
Well, thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye all.
Bye bye.